Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today we're going to be cutting a hole in the bottom of the door right here so that the cat can get in and out of the door without having to keep the door open all the time. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the door off of the hinges and we're going to bring it down to the garage, and we're going to cut it in the garage because it is going to make a little bit of a mess when we do the job. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is on the other side of the door we're going to take the hinges off, and we'll take the door off and get started. Alright, so come along. Okay, the way we're going to take it off the hinges now is we're going to come in here with a regular flathead screwdriver and a hammer, and we're going to come underneath the pin right here, and we're just going to tap it up. And you see it comes right out. But before we take this one out totally, we're just going to bring it up about halfway. And now we'll do the exact same thing on the upper one right here. We'll just tap it. Okay, and then we'll take the door off the hinges and we'll continue down in the garage. Okay, so now that we have the door down in the garage, we actually took our template and we put the template on the door exactly where we wanted it to be located. You can read your directions obviously to find out where you want it, but this is where we chose to put it. Now the directions do say it's a minimum of 3 inches up from the bottom of the door, so we are going to make it the minimum 3 inches up, and we taped our template exactly in the center of the door, and of course you can determine that by measuring the width of the door and dividing it in half. We take the template onto the door here itself, and now we're going to come in here. It says with a 1/2 inch drill to drill the hole out, but what I chose to do is to make a smaller pilot hole first, and then we're going to make the 1/2 inch hole and then come in here and cut it. Alright, so first thing we're going to do now is let's drill those holes through the door itself. Nice and slow. You don't want to go too quick. We're going to go dead center of the door itself, and we're going to drill very slowly. Okay, we're going to go nice and straight through so it comes out on the other side. So hold your drill nice and straight. And we're going to continue with the other 3, nice and easy, just till we get it to bite. Okay, now we're going to take this off and we're going to drill these out 1/2 inch holes. Okay, next we put our 1/2 inch drill bit into the drill here, and now we're going to come down and we're going to drill through these holes that we previously drilled that was smaller. Now we're going to drill halfway through just so we don't do a lot of damage on there, because hollow core doors have a tendency of splintering, so we're going to try to minimize the amount of splintering that we get by drilling through nice and slow and only about halfway through. Alright, so very slow and easy. Okay, so now that we have these 4 drilled in here, we're going to turn it over and do the exact same thing on the other side, and once we drill the other side, we'll come right back and continue. So now we have the other side drilled through as well. We're going to take tape and we're going to put tape on these holes here to try to minimize the cracking that's going to take place when we come in here with the jigsaw to cut it later. So we taped the other side up already, and now we're just going to do the exact same thing on this side here. By putting the tape on there, you'll still get a little cracking, but it'll minimize it, and it'll be covered by the door itself. Okay, so let's set up our jigsaw, and we're going to come in here and we're going to cut this out. So now that we have the tape on the door itself, we're taking our jigsaw and we're going to come in here, and as I said in the directions, cut it on the inside, cut it on the outside of the holes themselves. So we drew a line on here. so we have an idea of where we're going to cut along with the jigsaw, and that's what we're going to do. Now you want to do it very slowly, and as I said, you want to try to minimize the actual splitting of the door, so everything is nice and slow.
Do you go through or just one side?
Yeah, we're going to push this blade here, as you can see here. The blade is thicker than the door, so it will come through on the other side, and it will cut there as well. Okay, so now we're through, and we're going to go nice and slow, and we're going to follow it along here. Okay, so we have the one corner cut now. We're going to do the same thing this way. Come through the tape. Hold your hand on the bottom. Make sure you come through the other hole. Hold the tape in place on the bottom. And now we're going to cut along here, nice and slow. The exact same thing on this side here. Push it through the tape on the other side, and now we're going to cut along this line. And we'll make our last cut now. We're going to push the blade through again until it comes out the other side. Hold the paper on the tape on the bottom so it stays on the door, the tape. Now, this piece, when you get to the very end, it's going to fall off, so put your hand underneath the bottom and keep it from falling. Okay, now one thing I want to point out too, when you're cutting this, you can always cut it to make it a little bit bigger, but if you cut it too big, you can't make it smaller, so make sure you cut it at the proper size. If you're not sure, cut it a little bit smaller. You can always cut it to make it a little bit bigger if you need to. All right, so let's take the door and we're going to try it to see how it fits. Okay, so now that we have the opening cut, we're going to peel the masking tape off. And you can see it did minimize the chipping that took place, but you will get a little bit, which is going to be covered by the new door anyway. I mean, with the new cat door, so we're okay with that. Take this. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. We're going to peel away the other part on the other side, of course. Now, before you install the cat door, make sure it fits into the opening. And as you can see, it fits into the opening perfectly right here. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a pen or pencil and we're going to mark exactly where the holes are going to be. But before we do that, this is personal preference. If you have this as an interior door and you want to close this part off so it's not seen, you can take some masking tape and put it around through here. You can use duct tape. You can use any kind of tape that you want so that you won't see this showing through. You'll see this on the inside. All right, so that's what we're going to do first. We're going to mark the holes here, and then we'll put that tape on the inside. So let me mark it here, and we're going to lock our door in the closed position. We're going to put this on here like this, and then we're going to take our pen and we're going to mark . Okay, so now we have our holes marked where we're going to drill them, and we're going to put a very small pilot hole right here. Same thing here. Okay, so now we have our pilot holes drilled. Like I said, if you want to put tape on there, you can do that. We're going to take our door, put it in here, like this, and then we'll grab our screwdriver, and we're going to put the screws in. You're not going to over tighten it because you don't want to strip out the hole. So we're just going to catch them a little bit, each one of them first. And now that you have all 4 of them caught, you can screw them down until they're snug. Don't over tighten it, like I said, you don't want to strip it out. Okay, so that's it. Let's turn it over and we'll finish it off on the other side. Now obviously you can see the paint came off, but at least the door itself is not splintered, so we can always paint this whenever we choose to. All right, so let's clean this off a little bit. Let's get the other piece on and this will be all done. Okay, now once we have them in position, now it's double-sided tape, so now we're going to peel off the sticky part that's going to go against the door itself. And then we're just going to take it, put it in the opening right here. And we'll stick it down. And that's it, our door is now cut out. And let's take it up and put it back in the opening, and we'll see how the cat likes the door. So let's go back up and put this door back up. Well, it's going to take a little bit of a learning curve in this situation, but I think, you know, the volume's not on. Well, we're going to have to do a little bit of teachings to teach him how to use the door, but it looks like he's getting used to it already. All right, this job is done. We're on to the next one. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.